Howdy peeps. Today I thought I'd do a review of this kit. There's been a lot of P40 reviews going around lately of the Edward reboxing of the Hasegawa 132. So I thought I'd break out one that's in a more manageable scale. It's not a big plane anyway, and also by an often unknown and underappreciated manufacturer in Bronco. Now, despite the name Bronco, I think we can safely say they're probably a Chinese company. Looks like, yep. Due to the general spelling mistakes and the fact that most of it's written in, I'm guessing it's probably Mandarin. That said, they do produce some really nice kits. I've built a few of them and really enjoy them. What we got? They're also quite affordable, and if you're looking at getting a Stug, the Bronco Stugs are comparable, if not better, than the Dragon Stugs, and they're normally about half the price. And you still get things like metal barrels and all the etch and individual track links, etc. But let's have a look. See, well, we got really nice box art over the map of the Pacific Theatre, burnt through with the Zero and Warhawk. Slight spelling mistake, the Americanization of Harbour and other theatre. So only fought at Pearl Harbor and one other theatre. Oh, that's interesting. On this side of the box we have the number FB 4008 and a few little bits of what we get in the kit. Small fret of etch parts. It says high quality decals, we shall see. Comes with a bonus resin female in WW2, which, if this is taken from the movie Pearl Harbor, will be Kate Beckinsale. I'm assuming that's showing off movable flaps, and that's showing off a nicely complicated cockpit and engine assembly. The other sides, nothing on the ends as usual, but the reverse side shows we have 6 marking schemes. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know the difference. Oh, excuse me. Apart from that's the best one because it has a tiger mouth or shark mouth on it. That's always a win. Anyway, so let's have a look, see what we get inside the box, shall we? Should put it to one side, out of the way, and move the advertising hoarding out of the way too. Put that somewhere safe. First thing we find in the top of the box, I'll just fold it out of the way, piece of cardboard, what I call the Bronco card. It used to be like Dragon did them, and it'd be the Dragon card, which had all your nice shiny bits stuck to. So we shall just remove the bits from the card with the aid of a semi-sharp knife. A nice sturdy bit of card as well, which helps keep the decals flat if they're not in the bottom of the box. We open this up, the first things we find are, as I say, the teeny tiny little etch fret. She's got the plastic backing on, which will stop this. I'm going to have to get that real close. As you see, there's really not a lot to it. I think it is just gun sights and a couple of other random little pieces. And our little resin 48th figure of, well, I'm assuming it's supposed to be Kate Beckinsale, just gazing off wistfully into the distance. Very nicely detailed, crisp, clean. No plugs to clean up. Doesn't look like it needs any clean up at all. And the hair is particularly, I mean, given the scale at 48, the hair is particularly well done. And no, we can't see up her skirt. Comes to the decals, decals, water slide transfers, whatever you want to call them. With a nice piece of wax paper covering them, which is really, really, really waxy. And at first glance, everything looks stunning. It's all completely in register. Not super thin, they're not thick, they're fairly matte. There's a slight satin sheen to them. But if I draw your attention to the two top hat wearing tigers, which I guess is some unit marking or individual plane, well, they are beautiful decals, and the instrument panel itself doesn't look too bad, although I'd probably paint that. As you go over all the various stars and numbers. The numbers have got quite a bit of carrier film around them, but we can soon trim that back a little. But yeah, they do look, and they don't say anything about being printed out of in-house or out-house, other than, no, it's got the Bronco name on there. So I don't think they're cartograph. Let's just see. Now the very small placards you can't actually read, but then in 1/48 they're going to be tiny. Let's put that back on that wire because it was doing such a good job of protecting them. They're in perfect condition. So I think this is a 2016 kit. There are a few versions of it, so whether the moulding is a little older, maybe just rebagged it and repackaged it as something else, I don't know. I didn't actually check scale mates. And the first sprue we come to, heat sealed bags, so quieter at least to deal with in a review anyway than the resealable ones, which tend to be really crinkly. And we have the fuselage halves, the upper cowling, the vents. I forget what, I know what they're called, I just forget it at the moment. Underside cowling, cockpit sidewalls, prop, spinner, back of the spinner. I'm guessing there's probably some undercarriagey part, and there's could be rear tail wheel, I suppose, given that the tail wheel is sat there, and the various parts, so we can have it, looks like either gear down or in flight. And lots of detail on the inside of the fuselage. Fairly certain version, none of it will be seen. There are some ejector pin marks, but I mean those ones are on flat plastic. This is going to be a side, these bits will go over, but these have got ejector pin marks on the back as well, and some of them are raised, but yeah, minor problem. If it's two mating surfaces, you don't have to worry about the sunken ones, it's just the raised ones that will cause problems. Other than that, it all looks fairly solid and well made on the inside. If we flip it back over and I'll bring it up, you can see just how nice the panel lines and riveting are on it. If I can get it, get the sun glare off, I think will do. I think you can see. I'll keep my hand behind it so it stays in focus. And on the nose cowling, the cockpit sidewall details, and then the other fuselage half. Same level of lovely detail on there. There's no flash that I can see really. There's not even any seam lines, it doesn't look like, on the small rounder parts. Tyre, yeah, there is a very slight seam line on the tail wheel, but I think we can forgive that. Show me a one-piece styrene wheel and tyre that doesn't have, oh, I almost forgot to show the nose cone, obviously slide moulded for the guns to go through, which is a very nice touch as well. So I don't think I paid an extortionate amount for this. Forget where I got it from, because I got it a while back. It might have been E models, I believe. I think it was in the 20s, something around there, 25, maybe 30. Next sprue carries the wings and various smaller parts. But I'm going to have a quick swig of a drink, I'm afraid. Just pop that there for your perusal while I turn around, grab my bottle and have a quick swig. Oh, excuse me. Now the trick is to not burp through the rest of this. Okay, sorry about that. You can see upper and lower wings, one piece lower wing, two piece upper wings. Tail is at 2 parts. Yeah, two parts of the tail. We've got the guns. What I'm guessing are probably wing internals for the gear bays, probably. There's probably of those. And again, masses of detail on the inside of the wings and the flaps, but I mean, majority of it is never going to be visible. It's just there, serves mainly to just stiffen the part up, I think, than be detail. Guessing we can pose the flaps down, but you'd need to sort out, and they are small ejector pins, but you'd need to sort those out if you wanted to do it flaps down. Same on the tail fin, we got slightly raised ones, but again, slightly raised, a few swipes of the sander, gone. But if I pull it up nice and close, you can see we've got the same, same fine level of detail, rivets, panel lines, going across the entirety of the wing surfaces. I'll bring it this way without smacking the camera. Or dropping the sprue. Got a nice stress skin effect on the tail, or the rudder I should say, and the trailing edges. And onto the upper wings, we have the same level of detail again. Beautifully delicate riveting. I mean, I think it actually is in scale. How that's going to pick a wash up, I don't know, because it is very, very delicate and faint. But it's there. That's the good thing. We can worry about the efficacy of getting it to actually show up later. But if it's not there, you can't even worry about it. And if it's overly done, you then got to figure out, do I leave it or do I try and semi-fill it, or what, to try and make it look more in scale. So next sprue, which looks like we have all sorts of tiny little parts. So let's start with what we know, what we've got. We have the flaps, I'm guessing, again with nice detail, but the aforementioned ejector pin marks on the inside. Wheels look nicely moulded, 3 parts. You've got the back part of the wheel and, well, front part I guess technically, just the tyre and the back part of the hub. We have some very, very nicely moulded guns. I'm not sure they're 7.62s or 50 cals. I'll have to bring them up nice and close. This is and the seat and the instrument panel. Yeah, moulded in belts, but we can deal with that. That's not an issue. Bombs, drop tanks. The cockpit floor, more guns, more greebly small parts. I'm not entirely sure what they are. No idea what that is. Unless it's the back of it. Back of the, yeah, it might be the back of the instrument panel. So you can put the decal on that, and then I don't know. Pass. We'll find out when we look into the instructions. But, so everything's very nicely moulded. There's no Okay, he says there's no flash, but a little bit on the sprue isn't exactly a... No, you'd rather have loads of flash on the sprue and none on the parts whatsoever. No, that's supposed to be there. So even the gear legs all look nicely moulded. Everything just looks really nice. So it's just a bit of a shame about some of the ejector pin marks. But if you're going to put the flaps up, they're not going to be a problem. And so the ones on the inside of the cockpit will disappear as soon as you put the sidewalls on. Well, get back in your bag, yeah. You will fit back in the bag. You have no choice in the matter. You're a piece of plastic. I refuse to be beaten. There we go. And the final main sprue, which contains lots and lots of small delicate parts, some of which are slide moulded by the looks of things, or just protected by a raised piece of sprue just to keep them a bit safer, because they are very fine and delicate. Yeah, we're going to need to make sure we open this one up fully. There we go. As you can see, get the shiny bag out of the way. So this one we have the horizontal stabilizers, excuse my stomach rumbling, the intake vents, various pipings, tubings for, I'm guessing, engine and gear bays, and then we have a full set of slide moulded exhausts, so they're all hollow. So I'll bring it up. We can see the horizontal stabs continue with the nice subtle and delicate panel lines and rivets. Same with the ailerons, something like that. And then very, very delicate grill moulded onto the intakes. And the very fine, delicate parts onto the intake manifolds, fuel injector rails, the main cylinder block of the engine split horizontally rather than vertically, which is always nice. And if I flip this up, we can see the hollow moulded exhaust tips, and they don't really, there's a very slight seam on there, but that'll go bye-bye almost instantly. And this sprue, we're not worried about ejector pin marks because it's covered in ejector pin pads, which is a shame they couldn't have done it on some of the other parts. But there we go. Can't have everything. No such thing as a perfect kit. And then we get around to the clear parts, of which there are quite a lot. And this is interesting. I didn't know that. Shows how much I've looked through this kit in the past. Okay, so let's grab something to read. See if we can read through them. And what do you reckon? The instructions make a good bet. Yeah, we have some lensing, but just on the tight curves on the bent parts. The rest of it is crystal clear. There's not a flaw or a scratch or a scuff on any of it. It's beautiful. So if I bring this up for your viewing delectation, we have the main cockpit parts in the middle, or main canopy parts, sorry, some little landing lights and what have you. The bits that go behind the main cockpit over the side of the fuselage, but then we have the engine cowlings, and they're actually clear rather than the foggy clear that you tend to get for clear parts like that. And they are beautifully moulded. That's going to be interesting because that engine looks quite nice as well, so whether I'd build it and leave those clear, I'm not sure. Might look a bit weird, but if I do a good job on the engine, we shall see. See how they fit first. That's the main important part. As with all sort of inbox reviews of anything, I can sit here and go, yeah, this all looks really nice, and then you just find out it just doesn't fit. So then onto the instructions. Excuse me. Blah blah. Nice bit of bump about the plane. Again, copy the box art. Your general random guff. No health and safety warnings. Yay, they don't assume we're complete imbeciles. Colour call-outs or colour suggestions. Hobby colour, Mr. Hobby, Humble and Tamiya. So pretty much going to be fairly simple to figure out for most people, I would have thought. It does just about fit in shot, so we'll leave it there. Sprue map. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, I've got all that in the box. Just a few parts we don't use, like the bomb and some actuators of some description. And we start out putting the wings together. Fill in all sorts of detail. Yep, workable flaps, so you can have them however you like. More parts of the wings going on. Landing gear going into the wings this early in the build. I'd probably leave. I will leave that off at least until I've got everything else like fuselage together. Obviously, we've got the wheels up option, which will please some people. So I do like the use of a little bit of colour as well. It just jazzes things up and brings things to your attention. Especially it says interior green and then it's coloured interior green. The cockpit going together, instrument panel, seat, makes a full tub actually. So yeah, it's gonna, yeah, it could be interesting trying to get it into the fuselage. Interior, yeah, rear bulkhead I'm guessing, and mount for the rear landing gear. Tail going together with the actuator on it as well. Fuselage sides, tail wheel going in. And again the option, horizontal stabs and everything going on. The clear parts of the side. And whether you want it wheel down or wheel up. I mean, if you're doing wheels up, you don't got to worry about any of this stuff. So, and we're mating the fuselage to the wings, which hopefully will be a nice fit. We're starting on the engine going together, running through that, showing you the colours as well as you go, which I do like. And then is that 18 shot? Yeah. Detailed picture of where the parts are going. There's a CAD representation as well. Yeah, 2016 kit. Prop and spinner going on. It's saying to paint, well, and the engine going in, saying to paint both of those on the inside with interior green, but I reckon if you wanted to leave them clear you could probably get away with it. And the upper cowling going on. Guns going in first, obviously, and you can see the guns are in red. Just this one knows, pays to take close attention to the instructions. And option 2 is, I believe, a different set of guns. Yeah, but it doesn't say anything about putting the cowling on afterwards. And the cowl flaps, drop tank or fuel tank, whichever it is. Canopy going on with the gun sight, either closed or open. If you, I think it's workable if you want. So that's probably just going to scratch all the paint off anyway. then we get to the colour guides. Now, first one we have Selfridge Field, Michigan, 1941. Shame this isn't 132, otherwise Lonnie would have wanted to build that. Then we have the proper shark mouth with this one's got all the cool decals on. Yeah, I'll do this one. USAF China 42. We have Pearl Harbor 7th December 1941. So his Ken Taylor. I'm guessing he's a famous pilot. Historically, that's probably the more important one to do. But I like that scheme more. So, and US Air Force August 1941 in Iceland, and the same colours is the doesn't actually say olive drab. So that's that, and then we get another sheet, and we're almost through the box. This is another guide, which is USAF Panama Canal Zone, and then a bit of an advert for some of the other stuff they do. See the Stugs, very nice looking kits. I do have one in the stash and I might review it shortly. So there we go for the, I've done it again, haven't I? I've put all the bits in the box lid. Idiot. Right. The Bronco models p40c Warhawk fighter, USAAF, Pearl Harbor and other theatre. Overall, looks a really nice kit. Some of the eject spins might be a little bit of a pig to clean up, but I can deal with that. That doesn't worry me too much. It just means it takes a little longer to build it, which is, in my case, usually a good thing, given the speed I tend to put stuff together. But so I hope if you've not been lucky enough to get hold of one of the limited edition Edwards, or can't afford one and want a nice Warhawk, I hope that's given you a view as to what else is out there. So I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to me ramble and try not to burp. If you liked it, click like, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down, but tell us why, because otherwise it's kind of pointless really. If you give a thumbs down and you don't say why, then the person is none the wiser about what you didn't like. So yeah, enjoy modelling, have fun. Remember, that's the main thing, it's a hobby, have fun. Be good, rock on, peace, see you later.